Hi and welcome back to the channel. This is Wendell. Today we're discussing where the other end of the cable goes.
Hi, this is Wendell with BEV Escapades, and a few weeks ago we posted a short on how easy it was to plug in your electric vehicle at home. And I'm going to expand on that now and tell you where the other end of the cable goes, because there was a comment in the comment section about where the other end of the cable goes. Well, you have a few options. You can plug it into a regular wall outlet. It doesn't cost you anything. You can plug into a electric dryer port if you have an electric dryer at home. And again, all you would need to purchase would be the adapter to plug into that particular receptacle. You can have a 220 volt port or plug installed, hopefully somewhere nearby where your junction box is. The farther the cable has to run, the more expensive it gets, but that's beside the point. Or you can purchase a not a rapid charger, but like a level 2 charger from either Tesla, or there's a number of brands that sell them. I got a Juice Box, and I don't know if they're still in business. Juice Box, and there's a bunch of brands that you can have a little box installed on your wall that even does better than just a standard 220 plug. For example, plugging into a regular 110 volt outlet is a very slow trickle charge. That will take you quite a while to get a full charge if you're near empty on your car. If you're only driving a couple miles a day, if you're really close to work, or you just go into the grocery store or whatever, that may work out for you, because you'll get 2 to 3 miles per hour of charge. And if you have 300 miles of range in your car, that could take you 100 hours. 3 miles per hour to 300 miles, that's 100 hours. That could take you, what was that, 4 or 5 days to get a full charge if you're on empty, if your car is on empty. If you plug into a dryer port, I'm not sure of the speeds, but I think it's a standard 220 volt flow of electricity. So that plus that, or having a 220 volt plug installed near your car and or circuit breaker will get you 16 to 32 miles per hour, depending on the age of the car and depending on what the capabilities of the car is. For example, my car is an older Tesla Model X, and it does not charge as fast on the 220 volt as the newer cars do. So I get 16 miles per hour, which is fine for what I'm doing, because if I'm out all day and I come home and my battery is near empty, I plug it in. The next morning I'll wake up to a full tank. Same with the newer cars, which will get up to 32 miles per hour. But if you go with one of the installed level 2 chargers from Tesla or Juicebox or one of those other brands, you could actually get up to like 40, I think it's 45 miles per hour. So it does a much faster charge. But again, for what I'm doing, if I'm out all day, I just let it sit overnight. I don't need to spend, and then these level 2 charging units can get pretty expensive. Tesla sells theirs for, I believe it's $500. I'll link a picture and a price, and you can get some of those level 2 chargers for $1,000 or more, and that's not necessary. I don't think it's necessary, because just a 220 volt outlet is perfectly fine for doing overnight charging. If you're using your car as an Uber and you need to come home and charge and get right back on the road as quickly as possible, the level 2 chargers might be better, but then you'd probably use a supercharger, which is infinitely faster, and 150, 250 kilowatts of charge power there. So you'll get 20 to 80% charge in 15, 20 minutes. So that's a really fast charge. That's level 3 charging. And cost wise, I had a 220 volt outlet installed by an electrician, and I think that cost me about $450 or so to have installed. And it just makes it easier to charge at home, so I don't have to, do this really slow trickle charge. But again, if you're only driving a couple miles a day, that might work out for you. But the expense of a 220 volt charger or plug is so much worth it. And you'll have to get an adapter. No, actually, the Tesla mobile kit, which no longer comes with the car, it is a $250 charge when you buy your car. It comes with the plug for either 110 or 220 volts. The dryer plug, which is a different style outlet, is not included and is an additional charge. But any car you go with is going to either provide you with or have the option to buy the plugs to either plug into your wall, it's a regular outlet, or plug into a 220 volt outlet for charging. I won't go into too many of the details on the different level 2 chargers. We can do that in a separate video and give you a rundown on what's available, what the costs are. But for someone who's just thinking about an EV, you do not have to spend that kind of money to get a level 2 charger in your home. You can just plug into a 220 outlet and be perfectly fine charging overnight and waking up every morning to a full tank of electrons. And here's my NEMA 1450 outlet right there that I had installed. My power box, my junction box, is right on the other side of this wall outside. So it was relatively inexpensive to add that in. Only, I believe it costed me about $450 to have an electrician come out and install that. As a follow-up to my previous portion of this video about how you can plug your car in, one thing to bear in mind is get yourself a good quality receptacle port plug when you get it installed, and ask your electrician, if you're having it installed, to get a better quality than the cheapo bare bones minimum type which they like to use. When I had mine installed, it was just a regular cheapo, but it was one of the cheap brands, because I've looked this up online and it's under $10 for this receptacle. And in the process of unplugging my NeoCharge to discuss it on this video, it threw sparks and melted. Fun, right? So I replaced it with a American-made, it's definitely a higher quality, denser material, thicker steel port. And I should have taken videos of that, but I did not. But just bear in mind, get yourself a decent quality receptacle. Ask your electrician to get a decent quality receptacle. Don't use the cheapy bottom of the barrel stuff. And as an extra piece of precaution, turn off the switch at the junction box for this port before plugging in or unplugging your items. Because mine was turned on when I unplugged the NeoCharge, and that's when it sparked and melted. So, rule of thumb, turn it off before unplugging it. I think this one will probably be okay. I could probably unplug it and plug it back in without any problems now, but just to be on the safe side, because this is 240 volts, this is a lot of power, and this could very well kill you. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back, or turn it off before I plug in or unplug anything from this receptacle. That is all.
Goodbye.